Hi everybody, Pat Moody with another edition of Moody on the Move. A new episode taking you behind the scenes to learn more about the businesses and organizations across the region that we would like to know more about for you. Today, we hit the road for the remarkable story of the hard-working team at the Van Buren Cass District Health Department. Moody on the Move is made possible by our friends at Campbell Ford in Niles, where they promise the best bottom line is always at the state line. Remember, you can also watch again anytime online at moodyonthemove.com. Today, as I said, we're on the road to the Van Buren County community of Lawrence and the facilities of the Van Buren Cass District Health Department to visit with Chief Health Officer Daniel Persky and Holly Young, where she serves as Community Health Coordinator. Danielle, I want to begin with you and the central hallmark that you have of sorts of your entire team, both here and at your site in Dowagiac, obviously. At the very core of who and what you are all about are three firm tenets, kind of the AAA. To be accessible, to be approachable, and to be authentic. Walk us through how important those core holdings are for all of you, and especially in the clinical services team.
Yeah, well, first, thank you for having us for this interview. It's exciting to have the chance to talk about the good part of us and what we do and what makes us who we are. And so we went through a process just a few years ago to redefine our values. And as we were led through the process, one of the things that they kept saying was redefine who you really are. Really think about who you really are. And as we pulled the team together and began thinking about it, what was really clear was that we were accessible, we were approachable, and we were authentic. And that's not just the behavior that we have when we walk through the doors, that is just who we are, our core. The thing about public health is anybody who goes into the field of public health does it because they genuinely care about the community, about others, about someone other than themselves. And so when we think about being approachable, accessible, authentic, what we're really saying is, hey, anybody who walks through our doors should feel welcome. Anybody who walks through our doors should feel like they have better access now to healthcare services because we're going to help make that possible. And anyone who walks through our doors should feel like they can trust us, that when they're talking to us, it's genuine, that we act with integrity, and that we genuinely care about the people that we're serving. And I know I mentioned walk through our doors, but accessible also means we might walk through theirs too. Sure. And so that's either going to where they're at, if they are at home, or if we're bringing a mobile clinic, or maybe we're doing a vaccine clinic out at a community center or a senior center, but it's all about being connected with community.
Or even just answering the phone.
Yes,
you'll
exactly.
know you'll get authorized.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, Holly, I love the premise that you have here, and for that matter, the promise, if you will, that although you might live in a small town, your health is no small matter. I love that line. To the team at the Van Buren Cass District Health Department, how do you carry that premise forward on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so to provide some context about where that slogan came from and about the communities that we serve, it is a sad reality in rural communities that there's a lack of access to healthcare resources, whether that be a physician, a dentist, or a pharmacy. Those things are few and far between in rural areas just by distance or lack of access. We wanted to communicate with the community that we are here to support them on their health journey and provide any resources that we can. So whether that be immunization services, answering any questions about any health topics, we have a great team of nurses that can answer any call or provide information. We have an environmental health division. So the message is, you might live in a small town, but your health is no small matter. We want to communicate that this is a collaborative approach to healthcare. So wherever someone is on their healthcare journey, we want to support them every step of the way.
Excellent.
Well, and I don't know if you have had this experience, but in a rural area, especially like the ones that we serve, people often feel like they are secondary, that the services go to the urban, suburban areas and nobody's looking out for us and cares about us. But we are filled with local residents who work here and genuinely do care about the community. And so it was, hey, just because you live in a small town doesn't mean that your health doesn't matter. We care.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, in today's world, there are many, many ways to stand up and to stand out. And at Moody on the Market, we've been recognizing people and organizations for years now through our Heritage Awards series, including the 40 Under 40, the 20 Best Places to Work, and our Bold Women of Business honors. It's never been an easy thing for a nonprofit government-based agency to earn high recognition, as you well know. Yet your team was honored this past spring as one of the best places to work. Danielle, tell us about the things that make this place that special.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say is when I took on this leadership role a little over 3 years ago, I was determined to prove that we don't have to be just like every government agency. And I think I mentioned it earlier when we were having conversation that when I think about public health, I really think people should feel like they're walking into a library. Now, obviously, I don't have a ton of books, but I want people to feel like they belong. And that doesn't just go for our community, that goes for our team as well. And so we really lead here with a person-centered focus. So it's not just about who we serve, but it's about who serves those as well. And I mean, even just the simple things. They're not simple, but I mean the policy-related things like great PTO. The way that staff accumulate PTO here is really good. We do encourage them to take time for themselves, stay mentally healthy, physically well. We have a dress for your day policy. So one thing that everybody knew about me when I started taking over leadership was I do not like to dress up. It's not gonna be. And I will if I have
Ain't
to,
gonna happen.
but I specifically chose a career that would not require that. And so what we wanted to make people feel like is when you walk in here, you're just meeting your neighbors. You're not being met with a stuffy environment. And then just genuinely leading again with integrity, being honest. We're opening up transparency. So staff now are being included in why do we make decisions like how did we pick the healthcare insurance that we did, and what do our finances look like this year, and how are we giving raises where we can. And so we're really just trying to open the doors wide open and say, this is what's going on, these are all the answers. And I really think that what we've found is that people lean into that, the honesty, the transparency, the ask me any question, and we're not afraid to answer it.
Well, Holly, now, in addition to garnering that rewarding trophy of Best Places to Work, your Chief Health Officer, right here, Danielle, has just this fall been named to the 2024 class of the Moody on the Market Bold Women of Business, putting her in truly unique company. Tell us about, because we don't want to make her comment.
Right.
Tell us about her years of service and how she stands out as a leader in the community at large.
Yeah, so I will say I nominated our health department for the Best Places to Work and nominated Danielle. And I will say I wouldn't have gone through the trouble of writing those nominations if she didn't make it extremely easy for me to write. So she gave me plenty of examples to pull from of the great work that she does for our health department. Danielle is the first woman health officer at our department for in the past 30 years, and she's one of the youngest health officers across the state of Michigan. As someone who's just starting their career in public health, she fully supports any ideas, whether good or bad, I have, and she's completely supportive of any employee if they want to change something or have any advice. She has an open door policy. She listens to any level of employee, and she really advocates for the success of everyone that she works with. So, like I said, it was an extremely easy application. And when I was writing our application for the Best Places to Work, I was thinking, well, she's one of the main reasons why it's the best place to work. So it's just seemed natural to.
Kind of falls hand in hand, doesn't
exactly.
it? Exactly. Well, we talked about the AAA hallmark of accessibility, approachability, and authenticity. Explain a little bit about those values, what they mean internally.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, the whole process was starting with what's within. And so when we even developed the values, the key was be who you really are. Where businesses go wrong is they set values of who they want to be, not who they really are. And so we knew we had to be authentic, and that's where you see that. And really, so accessibility, approachability, and authenticity is actually just one value within that set of values. We're also dedicated to and passionate about public health. I don't think there is a single person, if you were to walk through this office and say anything public health related, that would not just get giddy with the idea that they get to talk about it. And so that's one key tenet, being community focused. Recently, the United Way, a few years back, had really leaned into this concept of turning outward, the United Way of Southwest Michigan. And we are key stakeholders in that process and that idea that we serve not ourselves, we serve you. And so that means we have to really be turned outward all the time. So community focused, and then of course grounded in teamwork. So there's nothing you can do in public health alone. I mean, even in the name itself, public implies that it takes collaboration, coordination, and we lean into that as well, not just internally with our team, but also other community agencies. Again, it's sort of the norm around here that if you're doing your job, you're likely talking to at least 5 other community agencies to help you do that job. And so these are really just the tenets of the values that make up who we really are, not who we want to be.
Exactly, and thus creating a great place to work. Well, folks, you can enjoy that accessibility, approachability, and more by making an appointment for clinical services that you might need in your life. You can simply pick up the phone and call the number that's on your screen, even if you simply have questions that you'd like answers for. The remarkable team here at Van Buren Cass District Health, located at 260 South Street here in Lawrence and at 302 South Front Street in Dowagiac, is at the ready. Remember, you might live in a small town, but your health is no small matter. Remember, too, you can watch this or any other edition of Moody on the Move at any time by simply going to moodyonthemove.com. It's all made possible by our friends at Campbell Ford in Niles, where they promise the best bottom line is always at the state line. We'll see you next time that we take Moody on the Move.